guys, Dr. Rob Barrington here with some more nutrition advice. I wanted to have a look at this slide that I've created regarding vitamin C. And the reason that I put this slide together is because there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of argument about whether vitamin C is required in supplements or whether the food that we can eat provides enough vitamin C for our metabolic needs. The argument really revolves around the fact that supplements have only been available for a limited amount of time, and we've had to rely on the vitamin C in our foods to keep us healthy, and therefore the vitamin C that we get from our foods should be enough to maintain our health. And I think that's a very compelling argument. I do think that, and I've always said this about all nutrients, if you can get enough from your food, you should always try to get the nutrients that you require from your food. However, there are a few caveats, and this is a very complex topic, so I'm just going to try and hit the high points with this to keep the video to a reasonable length. There are a number of caveats about why people might want to supplement, so I'm going to go through some of the main issues and see if I can come to some kind of conclusions. The first thing to say is that whether you get your vitamin C from supplements or you get your vitamin C from food, the bioavailability is very high. There's no real difference between absorbing the vitamin C from foods and absorbing it from vitamin C. It's generally well absorbed, and a lot of the vitamin C in our foods is absorbed. So how much vitamin C can we get from our foods? Well, this is a contentious issue, but a number of studies have tried to assess the amount of vitamin C you could theoretically get from food. Looking through the literature, collating all this data, the estimation for the amount of vitamin C you could get from a very high vitamin C diet is about 600 milligrams a day. Now, that's a reasonable amount of vitamin C. The RDA for vitamin C varies from country to country, but it's about 60 milligrams. So you can get about 10 times the RDA for vitamin C from your food. And you can obviously get much higher amounts from supplements. Most supplements come in, in the minimum, they come in 500 milligram tablets. You can get 250 milligram tablets, but you don't need to take many supplements of vitamin C before your your intake is much higher than the 600 milligrams. The majority of vitamin C, tablets you find on the shelf, for example, are 1,000 milligrams. So just one of those tablets a day will almost double the amount of vitamin C that you can get, that you'd be able to get from your diet. But the question, it's not how much you get; it's really how much you need. Do you need more than 600 milligrams of vitamin C in your diet? And if we go to the plasma saturation levels of vitamin C, there is a point above which vitamin C in your diet will make no additional difference to the amount of vitamin C that you have in your plasma. Now, again, this is a contentious issue, but there have been a number of studies that have looked at, how much vitamin C can you take in your diet before there is no further increase in plasma levels of vitamin C. And it seems to be that about 2,500 milligrams of vitamin C in your diet is the point at which really your blood levels, your plasma levels of vitamin C won't increase further. And therefore, that's really the point at which vitamin C intake, further vitamin C intake is going to have no beneficial effects. Your tissues are saturated with vitamin C, and any further additional vitamin C may even have negative effects. For example, very high amounts of vitamin C can actually detrimentally affect gut function. They can cause leaky gut, and they can actually cause loose stools. So there are detrimental effects to very high amounts. But what should be taken into account is that this plasma saturation is transient. It's not going to take long for your vitamin C is water soluble, so it's not going to take long after you've saturated your plasma, your blood with vitamin C. It's not going to take long before the vitamin C levels start to drop again. So it might be that you could take 2,500 milligrams more than once a day, but it's just that in a single dose, 2,500 milligrams is enough to temporarily saturate your blood with vitamin C. And as you can see, as I'm discussing this, you can see this is a very complex issue, and it's very difficult to actually come to firm answers about whether supplements of vitamin C are required. But these are the figures that I've collated from the nutritional literature. It's about 600 milligrams per day is the amount that you can get in your diet of vitamin C, and at about 2,500 milligrams, an intake of 2,500 milligrams, you saturate your blood with vitamin C, such that further intake of vitamin C doesn't cause an increase in plasma levels. So from this, what can we say? Well, really, if you're going to take supplements of vitamin C, there doesn't seem to be much point in taking more than about 2.5 grams at a time. That would seem the amount that would maximally saturate your plasma levels. So, for example, there is some evidence that vitamin C in very high concentrations can limit the severity of a cold, decrease the length of time that you experience symptoms. It would seem for the average person that taking more than 2,500 milligrams at a time possibly is not beneficial. So if you're going to go down that route to take a supplement to try and limit the severity of the symptoms of a cold, it would seem that about 2.5 grams is the amount that you could take in one go before really any additional vitamin C had no extra effect. Obviously, as your vitamin C levels started to drop, you could take you could further top up your plasma levels with additional vitamin C throughout the day. In terms of the amount that you can get from food and the amount that you can get from supplements, clearly you can get much more vitamin C from from supplements. It is very difficult for those people, even with a high vitamin C, high plant food diet, to get more than about 600 milligrams per day. The real question comes down to, do you think 600 milligrams per day is enough to maintain your health? I would suggest it probably is for the average person who is not under stress, and for the average person who consistently manages to consume that diet and consistently get 600 milligrams per day. If you can consume that diet consistently, you're not under stress, you're not performing excessive physical activity, you're not exposed to high amounts of pollution, I would say that 600 milligrams per day is fine. But the vast majority of people do perform physical activity or some kind of extreme exercise, whether it's in work or through choice. The vast majority of people in the West, particularly, are exposed to pollution, a lot of types of pollution that haven't existed in the past when we've, before our society developed. A lot of the forms of pollution that we're exposed to, particular types of radiation, we weren't exposed to these types of levels, and therefore I do think there is an argument in our modern existence for higher amounts of vitamin C. And I think the diet for some people is limiting. And of course, there is the fact that some people can't eat foods that are high in vitamin C. Some people, for example, have an intolerance to citrus fruits. Citrus fruits are notoriously, they're notorious for causing allergies in certain people, and certain people just don't like citrus fruits. There are certain vegetables that are high in vitamin C that people won't eat. Now, obviously, if you can get 600 milligrams from your diet, you're doing well. If you can't get 600 milligrams from your diet because some of the foods that are high in vitamin C are foods that you don't like or you can't eat, there is, I think, a justification for supplements. So really what I'm saying is this comes down to your individual circumstances. I don't think there is a right and a wrong answer to say whether vitamin C supplementation is the right thing to do. I think it really depends on your personal circumstances. If you are exposed to pollution, if you do perform physical activity, if your diet's perhaps not consistent, you eat a healthy diet, but because of your modern existence, it's very difficult to consistently eat the same foods every day, providing yourself with that 600 milligram target. If that if you fall into that type of category, it could be that you require supplements. And again, there is evidence, and it is controversial, but there is evidence that taking high amounts of vitamin C for a short period of time when you have the symptoms of a cold can actually reduce the severity of those symptoms. So there are particular times when you might want to increase your vitamin C considerably, maybe up to 2,500 milligrams a number of times per day. And there may be, of course, other times when you feel that you're not stressed and maybe you're on holiday, you're away from pollution, you're nicely relaxed, you are eating a consistent, healthy diet, in which case supplements may not be required. So I don't see this as as being able to answer this question, say yes, supplements are required, or no, they're not required. And it might be that those people that consume supplements don't consume them at the same level all the time. This is something that you need to understand yourself, become your own nutritionist, and you need to provide yourself with the additional vitamin C as and when it's required. Lastly, it might be worth discussing briefly why vitamin C is actually important. The main reason that vitamin C is required by humans is because it functions as an antioxidant. Vitamin C, ascorbic acid, it has antioxidant effects. It's one of the main water-soluble antioxidants in humans, and in that role, it does interact with other vitamins and with other antioxidants. For example, flavonoids are also present in many of the foods that contain vitamin C, and they appear to have synergistic effects in animal tissues. Vitamin C can also interact with vitamin E and various other endogenously produced antioxidant systems, such as the glutathione peroxidase antioxidant system. And in this way, it forms an antioxidant defense system around our cells, within our cells, and this protects them from tissue damage. There are other functions for vitamin C away from its general antioxidant function, but they're still based on the fact that vitamin C is an antioxidant. For example, vitamin C is required for noradrenaline synthesis in the brain. It's required for the synthesis of noradrenaline, which is an important neurotransmitter. And in that role, it still acts as an antioxidant, but it acts as an antioxidant to reduce copper. And in turn, the copper is able to interact with oxygen in order to be able to allow the reactions to occur for the production of noradrenaline from dopamine. There's a very similar role in the production of collagen, whereby vitamin C reduces iron, and the iron in turn then allows the synthesis of collagen. So it's a very important antioxidant. It's a very important reducing agent. And I would suggest that the amounts that are contained within your diet, the 600 milligrams, are possibly enough to allow those reactions to occur. What we're really talking about is the extra amounts of vitamin C that come from supplements that may provide additional antioxidant protection. And this is why earlier I discussed about pollution and exercise, because these are generators of free radicals, and additional vitamin C in your diet is a very good way to mop up these extra free radicals and prevent them causing tissue damage, and which ultimately could lead to disease if they're allowed to propagate, and if the condition of oxidative stress is allowed to take hold in your body. There's a very strong link between this oxidative stress caused by the generation of free radicals and disease, and vitamin C I see is one of the ways that link can be broken. And it's a very good way, I think, of combating, a general way of combating oxidative stress. So what's the take-home message from this? I think the take-home message is really you should try and optimize the amount of vitamin C in your diet. You should try and target that 600 milligrams per day with a very high plant food diet containing lots of vitamin C-rich foods. And then on top of that, if you feel that you're exposed to pollution, if you feel that you are perhaps under stress, perhaps you're performing high amounts of physical activity because maybe you're an athlete, or perhaps your job requires lots of physical activity. If that's the case, then I would suggest that supplements of vitamin C could be beneficial. I would say 500 to 100 milligrams of vitamin C as a supplement per day under those conditions. And if you do develop a cold, if you feel that you're getting the symptoms of a cold, 2,500 milligrams of vitamin C 3 times a day would seem to be a way of maintaining plasma levels at their highest while you have the cold. As the symptoms of the cold disappear and you start to recover, drop the vitamin C back to your normal levels over a couple of days. And that would seem to be, to me, one of the best strategies. And I think that would be, without giving a very complex answer, just hitting the high points, that would be something that I would think would be suitable for most people. So that's the way I see it. As always, eat well, stay healthy, and protect yourself. And thank you for listening to the vitamin C supplements or food video.